Hi guys, Dale from DL Equine here. I wanted to talk about some things that I've been seeing on social media lately about and advertising chaff, and I just wanted to give a bit of a warning for anyone that was interested or didn't know. Some things I've been reading are a little scary and sometimes, if I'm honest, absolutely wrong and misleading. So if you are feeding chaff to your horse, which I hope most of you are, because it is great dry matter and that we have available to us, but when it comes to what type, it can be a bit confusing, and as I've said, some of the marketing out there is really bad. So for most of us would be seeing things like meadow chaff, lucerne chaff, and then we start to see more of things like Timothy, which we're really lucky with, and then there are some mixtures and some things that I see called oaten chaff. So it really does depend on your horse and your preference and what you can get at times as well. It's been a really strange year for growing and cutting everything, but there's a warning and some clarity for you. Meadow chaff, well, generally, if you have a harder working horse, probably, and a horse that does not have any conditions like Cushing's or insulin dysregulation, PPID, metabolic problems, laminitis, stay away potentially from something like meadow chaff, because it's from the meadow and you have no idea really, unless you got it tested, what its carbohydrates, its starch levels are. So in terms of feeding any sort of metabolic issue horse, I'd be going for things like Timothy. Brown top is fantastic when it comes back. We're all waiting for it to grow. That's very, very low in energy and carbohydrates, sugars and starch. And for those of you that don't know, or let's stop the myths around lucerne. It is 2023. The facts are lucerne is really low in starch and sugars. Okay, it's probably lower, unless you're in some strange part of the country and your horse is standing in a field of potentially Timothy. It's going to be lower in starch and sugars than just about everything in every grass except for Timothy or brown top. Okay, and it is high in energy, so you don't potentially, unless your horse is hard working, need to feed a lot of it, because energy is calories. But in terms of starch and sugars, it is low. Fact. It's research. So a little bit, even in particularly in diets for horses with metabolic problems, laminitis, insulin dysregulation problems, that's one of the chaffs that you want to add in a certain amount. The other myth that I see going around and very scary advertising is oaten chaff or oaten chaff mixes. Oaten chaff, unless the manufacturer can actually tell you, contains oats. Okay, so oats are a grain and they are full of starch. This is something you want to stay away from if you have a metabolic issue horse, particularly if it's had laminitis or is in the middle of a laminitic episode. Do not feed oaten chaff. Oaten straw, as long as you do ask the manufacturer specifically, oaten straw or oaten straw chaff should have had the grains removed. But be very careful about making sure you clarify that with the manufacturer. Okay, but in general, oaten chaff still contains oats. Stay away from it if you've got a horse with metabolic problems. Well, that was a little bit of myth busting for today. Tune in. I'm pretty sure I've got a whole lot more of these, but I hope that helps some of you and clarify things. Okay, bye.